So I think I might be doing I'm going to show you this application, and then since we have time, I might go through some other work that I'm working on that could be mobile related. So title of my presentation is Workforce for ArcGIS, Configuring Your Organization's Needs. So what is Workforce? Workforce is one of Esri's mobile, part of their mobile platform. It's pretty much it's a workforce coordination app, so you can assign work to your field staff. It comes with a native iOS and Android app that you can use in the field, and then a web app to use in the office. And it integrates with and requires ArcGIS Online, but with no additional licensing, which was nice for us. So how does it work? Pretty much someone in the field or someone in the office will assign a project to someone in the field. They can do that by clicking on the map or by putting an address in, and then they just choose who they're going to assign it to. One thing that was really key to us was real-time awareness. That's one of the things they highlight on here. And I'll explain why that was important to us when I start talking about the project. So who in the city uses Workforce? So first I was thinking all these departments, but there's one common theme, which is why this really isn't fitting for them, is they all use CityWorks, which is our asset and work order management system. So who does use it? So Development Services was the first department that came to us, and so it was their inspections group, their building inspectors and their street cut inspectors. They don't use CityWorks since they have their own land management database, and CityWorks just doesn't do that yet, or at least how they have it configured doesn't do that. So building inspections, their goal was to give this real-time app to allow people that schedule inspections to see where they are on their inspector's queue. And they came to us with wanting to use their AVL location, which to use that to determine when the inspection started and was completed. We attempted using GeoEvent and GeoFences, but the results were not too good. One thing is we're taking some assumptions. A vehicle leaving does not equal inspection being completed. They could be going out they could just be taking a break, going out to lunch or something. Sometimes the vehicles didn't park close enough inside the geofence, so that didn't trigger anything because they would actually be walking and doing several inspections. And sometimes they were side by side. If it's new development, you'd have two inspections side by side, and you can't tell which one they're working on. So then I came to the decision to try to sell them on Workforce. One of their concerns was they didn't trust their inspectors to be updating the status in the field. That's why they wanted to use AVL. So in Workforce, you can trigger when it starts and when an inspection is completed. And there actually was no need for AVL anymore since they can use the inspector's phone to find their location. And you could even store a history of that too. So for the city's needs, all our inspections are stored inside of our IRIS database, which is our land management database. And so that we didn't want people double entry, so we didn't want people entering it in there and then inside a Workforce. So we had to come up with a methodology to pull from IRIS and put it into ArcGIS Online. The good thing is this is all done by feature layer, so you just do a bunch of REST calls with Python scripts, and actually it was pretty simple to do. So in this diagram here, you'll see our IRIS database in the lower left corner. So we have a Python script that connects to that database, and then it pulls any inspections that are new that day, geocodes them, and our geocoding is actually 100% since the addresses are coming from that database, and our geocoder is using those addresses. And then we just have to map to the Workforce schema with Python, and then it's available for the phones in the field and the computer in the office. So here is the schema for Workforce. It's actually pretty simple. You have a feature layer for workers, feature layer for dispatchers, one for assignments, and then you have some domains for work status, assigned status. So the key here was setting who the worker was, which we actually knew since it was being assigned in the database. So we knew who it was going to. So we just had to find the object ID of that worker and then assign it to, in assignments there's a worker ID, so we just had to get that link there together. And for the street cut one, it was actually, we have districts for the 3 inspectors, so we know which district they were in based on their location, so we used that to decide who to assign it to. Here's a screenshot. I'm actually going to go do a demo of this since I have the time. That's what the dispatcher view looks like. And this is just a short demo to show you what the real-time aspect is of this. So right now you can see I put an address, this Cadmore here. This is the one I'm interested in. So that highlighted my inspection orange. And then we also have one that's in progress. So you can see on the map he's actually working on that one there and just completed it. So once he completed it, it goes off the map on the right. And you can see it just turned green on there. So that indicates that he completed his work at that inspection. And now you can see he's actually moving to the next inspection, which is this one here. So now he's heading to this point here, which is this address right here, this Caswell place. And I'll just give it a few seconds, and you'll see that this point will turn green, and then my inspection will move up to the top one. Actually, let's see. I think the video stopped before it did, but that's kind of an idea of how the real-time functionality of this is. And then I'll briefly just kind of mention our street cut inspectors. So they needed a better solution than their current solution. They were pulling data from the IRIS database into Access, and then they didn't have any spatial component. They had to go look up on Google Maps where they were, and then kind of come up with their workflow for the day. And that just was not efficient at all. And I actually got a quote from Will Shoemaker, who is our engineering inspections coordinator, who all these inspectors report to. And I'm just going to highlight some of the things that he said. He said it's greatly improved the efficiency of the street cut permit inspection process. It used to take hours to pull the reports and then organize them so that an efficient travel route could be planned. And then they can leave the office earlier and maximize their time in the field. And now I will be showing a demo of Workforce. So Workforce is actually very easy to set up. You just log in with your ArcGIS Online, create a project. I'll just call this Workforce 2. So right now it's going and building all your feature layers that you need for this, building your maps. It takes maybe about 30 seconds to do all that. So now I'll create, you can give assignment types, so I can do like building inspection. If we wanted them to use the same app, which they don't, but I can do a street cut inspection. So now those are in there. I can add as many types as I want, and those will actually show up in Workforce. So now you add your mobile user, so I'll just add myself. I can be a mobile worker. I'm already a dispatcher since I'm the owner. I could make one of my colleagues a mobile worker. So you can add as many as you want there. So that's there's a worker feature layer, so they all go into that feature layer and get assigned an object ID. Then you can also integrate with other apps. So you can integrate with Navigator or Collector. Navigator will give you turn-by-turn directions. Collector, you can collect more information about that point, because Workforce is kind of limited. You can't customize it to say, oh, I want to find out this information or that information. So you have to go into Collector to do that. Then you can also link it to Survey 123 if you want them to fill out a form once they do all their work. So you can get additional information that way too. And as I said before, you could even use this kind of as an AVL by getting the location of your worker. And you can even track it, so you can have a history and replay their path. So I'm going to cancel out of this one and go to this one I created earlier. This is the dispatcher view, since it's working on here. You can see I've assigned some work to myself. I will go ahead and assign a few more. You can either, let's see, I'll just click on the map. You can put an address in too if you wanted to. This isn't kind of our typical workflow since we already have everything all in a database. So I'll choose test assignment. I'll assign it to myself. Priority low. You can give it a due date, so I'll just give it today or tomorrow. I'll choose a time, like 8:45. You give it an ID. You can attach documents. So if you want your field staff to see documents in the field, it could be maybe just information about the inspection that was submitted. So you can attach PDFs on there, images, anything you want. Now I will click on the map. I'll create one. So one thing was that these, to have the real-time app work, we had to have them be able to schedule or set an order. And Workforce, you can't actually do that. You can't say the mobile worker can't go out and change their order, and they're the ones actually choosing which ones they go to. So we could give them access to the dispatcher, but that really wasn't going to work because we didn't want access to everyone else's. So I created this this mobile app with it'll work on phones. Actually, I think I have it on my phone here. I'll just run it off here. I don't think it's on my phone. So this was built using Ionic, so we could actually, Ionic is an Angular framework for building native apps. So I could publish this to ArcGIS, to Apple Store, but we didn't do that. We're just going to send them to the URL. I will refresh this here. So I've hooked this up with my ArcGIS Online through OAuth 2. So you just have to come in here and enter your account. So I've entered mine, and I have it hooked up to this map that I'm working on now. So this is a list. The one I just added was this Northcliffe. And you will see in Workforce here that I'll sort by due date. So you can see currently that's last on my list, but say if I wanted that to be my first one. So I can come over here, choose, we'll just choose 5 o'clock so it goes on top of the list, or 3 o'clock. So now you can see it is on top of my list, and on the app it's going to be on the top of my list. So here's the, this is the app on the phone. This is what the mobile workers will see. So you can see Northcliffe is top of my list now. I'll go back to my projects. I'm going to bring up this actual inspection, the live one that's going live now. So here is everything that they're working on. I'll focus on this. One thing to note is you can see where everyone's location is. So that's me right there at the convention center. That's one of our inspectors. I think this one is actually not working today, so that must be where he lives, is in Johnson County. So he must have his phone on. But so now I'll just choose Carl as an example. So right now he's down here and he's heading towards Brightleaf, which is up there, but I'm not exactly sure what route he's going, but that's going to be his next one. Let me see if the other. So, and you see the green ones, those are ones they actually already completed, so those will come off their list. Let's go back to Carl. So say if I was interested in this Golden Oak Court, I'll come over to this one here. So I could type in the address. So this is what the developers would see. So, oh, mine's number 6 on the list here. So as he's working, you'll see that the first one will actually turn green whenever he starts working on that one. And then once he completes it, you would see 6 go up to number 5, and the other one would go off the list. So this is kind of how we're doing the real time. This actually isn't live, but it's something we're looking into going live with soon. You get the information about who your inspector is, and it's supposed to be a picture there of him, whatever picture I stored on ArcGIS Online. And I'll bring up the street inspectors too, to just show you how much work they have. So this is anytime say anytime Google Fiber goes out or AT&T goes out and needs to lay fiber down and they need to cut the street, this is kind of what that is. And then they go out and they re-inspect to make sure everything was done correctly. So here I'll change the status to assigned. So there's 147 assignments that they have since, I think this goes back 5 months. So this due date isn't actually a due date, it's just whenever it got assigned to them. And you can see it does some clustering. You can see there's downtown, there's quite a few that need to be done. These are all the inspectors. Most likely they're probably leaving their office right now. That's probably why they're all in the same area. And yeah, I think that's all I got with this workforce app. But now I'm going to go over to, so we had this litter project that we did. They came to us, the downtown Raleigh came to us and said, we have this project where we need to quantify how much litter is downtown. And they didn't want to do any one option was use this app that used Instagram, but they didn't want this stuff all going public and having City of Raleigh employees posting all these Instagrams. So we ended up seeing this app called the App Studio from Esri. And pretty simple. These are actually trash collectors going out there with phones and doing this. So we kind of really had to have it be simple. So if you do a new report, you could take a photo with your phone. I'll just randomly take one. Add your location, so it will be based on your GPS. Probably because we're inside, it's kind of off, but we'll just say it's there. Choose what it is. If it's a bottle or a can or cardboard, I'll do cardboard. Put some comments in, submit. So that goes up onto ArcGIS Online. And then what we did is for some reporting, I'm going to show, this is something I'm working on. Right now we were just doing some heat maps and sending them PDFs, but been working on a story map here. I guess this one here. So this is just Esri story map. It's kind of how we're going to, in the future, report this. So they went out in fall of 2015 and did this litter audit. So you can see there's some hot spots on here. There's some over by Moore Square, which is a park. Like I said, a lot of people sit on the wall there and eat lunch. The other hot spot was right around Martin Street here. Or no, I think Hargett and Wilmington over here. Yeah, right there. So that was spring of 2016 and fall of 2016 they did it again. I don't think I have the map set up correctly to really show this heat map there, but so then we also embedded some charts in here. So one thing they were interested in, what was being littered the most. So you see papers on there, and they actually considered cigarettes kind of like an outlier because those are all over the place. And they're really kind of hard to contain that. So in 2016, saw that they even found more cigarettes, then more paper. Paper was the most next month. So this kind of led to them, they have these big belly trash compactors, and this led to them so they found that hot spot at Wilmington and Hargett. So they added this one at Hargett because of the study, Hargett and Wilmington. Then on the other side of the street, they added another one. So hopefully that's going to help reduce some of the litter in that area. And we actually made Arc News for that project, and we're up for a city award for that. But now they want to do some crowdsourcing. So I'm going to go to there's a new story map from Esri called Crowdsource, which I saw a pretty cool example during the Super Bowl. The Houston Chronicle actually used this to report where people saw celebrities. I think they actually got quite a few results from that. So you could see like Snoop Dogg playing basketball at some charity event or something like that. So so you see all these are just some random pictures I took. A recycling bin was full, so I consider that littering. So once I zoom in, you'll see that some will come off the map. So these are just on, whatever's in my map extent will show up over here. But then you can participate. And to participate, I'll actually do it on my phone. I'll just do it through the app. I have a camera on here, so you can take your picture. Well, I'll just grab something from my computer. Give it a title. So you can do this from your phone. You can log in with your Facebook, Google+, ArcGIS Online, or just do it anonymous. So I'll just do a test, locate me. So get your location on the map. Accept the terms. So then this point actually goes into an ArcGIS Online app where staff in the city have to actually approve this for it to go on, just to avoid any kind of bad pictures going on or something we don't want shown on here. So that's that one. And then this other one is called our due diligence process. So this is a process where developers will sign up to find information about some property they're interested in. And this one I'm really kind of proud of. I think this is a really good app. So here you can see this is it actually works on the phone. So if you wanted to, so we can consider this mobile, I guess. You put your contact information in. Put your phone number. And this is all going to go into ArcGIS Online, but what we're using this for, this form there's just nothing in ArcGIS Online that can do this. Probably staying on the phone. So this form was built using Angular Material, which is a JavaScript framework built by Google, and the material part is part of Esri's material design. So this will look kind of a lot like some Google stuff. I'll just put some random text in there. So you can put an address in, or you can go and click on the map, which I'll do here. I guess the tapping, there you go. So as you can see, I click on the map, these areas this polygon gets bigger. So they're going to report that this property, but it's not going to be each individual property. There'll just be one point that they enter. And it's also going to put the area on the map. So say I was interested in those three. You can see we get all the information down here for those three. You can remove them by, there's actually supposed to be a trash can where that yellow button, or the red button is. Do no, and you can't submit until you actually agree to it, which is really easy to do with Angular. So it's been submitted. Then I'll go back to my browser here. So now you'll see there'll be a point on the map for this. Let's see, figure out which one it is. I think it's this one here. So this is just, this would be, the planning people would come in and answer a set of questions for this project. So I will put in, say it could be 10 stories, 2 acres. So once I answer all my questions, you don't actually have to give an additional comment. I'll hit save. And the neat thing here is, so now that they've finished all that, they want to know that their department's done with this, so they want to come back to this one. So now you can just see it just turn blue. And blue means we're waiting for the other trades, the other departments to finish this work order. So now Public Utilities is going to come in and answer their questions. I'll try and go through this real quick. So these are all predetermined questions that these departments identified that they want to answer. And so the goal is this, is they have, right now they can only do 3 because they actually have them come into the office. So now they want to do 10 per week. And they want it all to be all online. Save that one, it should turn blue again. And I'll explain how we're actually doing the detection that all the questions have been answered. Because if I didn't answer all those questions, it would stay yellow. And we actually we just decided, we didn't really want to recreate this kind of process, so we just used Web App Builder, use the Smart Editor so you can hide some questions. So just put my name here. Is this located in a sensitive watershed? If I choose yes, it gives me another question. So that I could choose which sensitive watershed it's in. Just some other stormwater related questions. And it's smart enough to know, I say if I just chose yes and I didn't answer the next question associated with that, it wouldn't turn blue. Save, that's going to turn blue. And the other thing we did is, so this one is our transportation people. They need to answer a question about the street type. So what we did is we just put related information into this map so they can come in here and see, oh, it's on this street and it is, the street typology is neighborhood, I think it was. So they could say it's a neighborhood street. So they have all this information at their hands in here. And the other thing is, you may have noticed some of the planning questions were already answered. So since we could spatially determine that, we've already pre-answered those for them. So I'll go back to my form here. Say, choose who's responsible for it, City of Raleigh, yes. No. So one more set of questions. So once these questions get answered, it's going to actually take it off the map. And then we're working on a process of sending an email with a PDF of this. So I'll submit that one. And if you go on the map here, you can see we have it hidden, so it's going to turn green. But it's going to hide off the map first. So now it's no longer on the map, and it's green. So what we actually use to determine this is use do event. So we're actually pulling that request. Let me just make sure my status is working. I may have actually missed a question on one of these. So once they all get answered, I was going to show how it sends the email off, but I think I missed one here. Oh, I think I might be on the wrong. Oh, I was on the wrong question, so that was what the problem was. So GEvent is detecting to make sure you've answered all your questions. And if you are, it will actually update the feature service with the saying that your department's done with it. Yes. It takes a few seconds for it to detect, because we don't want to actually pull in this every single second. It's still not working. This was just working the other day, but. Well, anyways, I'll move on. I can actually just make a quick code change here, just kind of show you how the email will get, what the email will look like. So what we did for the email is we wrote a Node.js script. So this actually goes through and we'll check and see if everyone's answered their questions. So I'm just going to make a little change here to get around this. I'll actually just change my status here to 0, which means I'll change that to 1. Hopefully this works. I know they say never to do live demos, but so now it's going through and it's going to be sending some emails to whoever entered it in. So this is actually going to send an email for everything that's ever been submitted, but this is test, so that's all right. So here's my PDF I got. And there's the answers to all my questions that I filled out. So this will actually be sent to the developer, and we're actually going to put some contact information, so if they have more questions, they can call in and answer, or get their questions answered. And also, we are planning on giving them access to the map too. So let me bring up the map. So the other neat thing we did is we actually attached that to the point through just a REST call. So then if other people want to find out information about this property, they could actually see everything that's already been submitted and then just get the report. The Wi-Fi is a little slow right now. Actually, it's only going to be on the completed ones. So there's a PDF attached on ArcGIS Online too. So I just thought this was a kind of neat application I'm working on now. Just wanted to, since we had time, might as well share it. So I think that's all I got.